welcome back into the studio. This morning I'm going to be working in my large format magazine style journal. Now these pages are really thin, they're huge, but they're really thin. So I usually glue about 3 of them together to make one sheet, one page. So I've done that already, and I have taped my center, which because this is so thin, I want it to hold up to whatever I throw at it. And I have pre-gessoed. I'm almost done in this one, so it's been a while since I've worked in it, so I'm kind of excited. So today I'll be working on Yumi Same 3. Yep, I got myself a packet. So this is what came. We have some 6x6 scrapbook paper with all these letters on it, bright colors. This is a piece of fabric with some adhesive on the back. It's interesting. And this large tag. So all I've really pulled out is some scrap that I had from cutting down some blueprints for my decoupage packs and some similar colored paints and sprays. So if the mood strikes me, it's on my table and it matches. So that's about all I know. Make sure you get down into the description box below for a list of all the products used. Plus, I'm trying to list at least Mickelnay and SouthernGal Designs Yumi Same 3 for this month. I try and get everyone's links to whoever's played along and also include them down there. So all those details will be down below in the description box. All right, let's jump in. The paper that I am decoupaging down is the plats that I have in my decoupage mixed media pack, variety pack. So these are all the leftover pieces after I cut out all the juicy, wonderful pieces to go into my packs. So I'm just kind of getting a variety of these. I've had excess of these sitting around and I'm like, oh, I can use these. And they're this fun blue kind of color, so, and on a very interesting paper. It's like almost like mimeograph paper almost, but not as sensitive to light and that kind of thing. If you remember all the old plats that they used to, blueprints that they used to have, they don't do them the same way anymore, but these are like the old ones. A lot of fun.
We spent summers catching fireflies and winters on our skates. One big smile across my face. We used to dance our way to church on Sundays. Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kitten and me. Take me back, all the way back to them days.
So I've pulled out some of my pastels and just choosing a color that will go with the color scheme. And just to get really loosened up, it kind of helps me out to kind of get out of my head a little bit, get a feel for what the surface feels like, and just be real intuitive and loose. Mostly just loose. So now I've gotten a stencil out and some marabou art spray, and I am going to get started with laying down some layers. Now all the items I've used in this project are listed down below in the description box. Totally real world problems when your art sprays, the nozzles get clogged. Oh, and I fought with these forever, and I finally just took them in and ran them under hot water and got them working again. Some of mine I really can't even get to spray anymore. Not the marabou, but definitely those glossy sprays. Oh my goodness, those are a hot minute.
Playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
So as you can see, I have the tag from the Yume Same 3, and I'm just kind of catching all the excess that's on the stencil and all that kind of stuff, and just catching some of that color on there in hopes that I can tie it in to what's happening on the page.
Mama set the pace, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
Just finger painting some of that extra paint off of my makeshift palette there onto the page, getting some real intense color. I also cleaned my sponge off on the page as well, and yeah, just really keeping it nice and loose and trying to just have fun and play more than anything. And I've got some of that scrapbook paper cut up, and I'm gonna come in and get that laid down next.
Dressed in a gown, barefoot.
You know, right about now I'm starting to think, oh my gosh, Nina, you have a hot mess. But I'm just plugging forward and just trying to focus on having fun and not really invested in what my brain tells me is coming. The fact that I need to pull this all together, the fact that I want it to look good, you know, and do these items justice. So I'm just trying to stay out of my head a little bit. Music always helps me. I try and play music or a podcast or something, or even a book on tape, trying to get myself out of my head and just doing, and then I don't get so invested in what the final outcome is. So now I'm just coming in with some black and a mask just to start to push some things to the back, create some contrast and some additional interest. It really wasn't until this point that I was like, okay, I've got to step back from this for a minute. So I did. I went and washed my mask off, and I was like, I really have to focus in on some areas, and that is when I got my idea. And so you're going to see here what I end up doing to pull in the tag that I had, and pull this all together into something cohesive and not so random and busy. So here I'm using a scrap tag as a template to block out areas that I'm going to hold as interest. And so I'm using some titanium white acrylic paint to just push back the background around that tag. So that is how I'm going to focus on specific areas of interest and eventually bring that tag back in that was part of the Yumi Same 3 items.
In the world, I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
It took me quite a while to get all that color pushed back enough where the tags, kind of the areas of interest where I put the tag mask, to pop forward. But in the end, I did decide not to completely cover it up because I really liked how that muted color came through that white. So you'll see I kind of leave that alone once I get to the point where that masked off mask area is really popping out with color. Okay, I'm finally gonna deal with getting the last piece of the You Me three items together, and so I'm bringing back the tag that I received from Tiffany, and I had saved some of the papers and that adhesive fabric and brought those back in onto the tag. So now I'm just pumped up the volume on some of that color, and I have pulled out, this was a free PDF from Crafty Hope's channel, and I have it linked up in an iCard up above, and it was just a sheet of a whole bunch of sayings and sentiments and things, and I just chose one of those to use. So I brought out my Crop-a-dile, and I'm going to get a hole punched, and I can because there's no layout on the other side, and so that I can get this tag attached to my layout. And that's about when it hit me that I needed to make these look more like tags just rather than rectangular shapes. So I go in with some of these fibers left over from another project and adhere them to the holes so they look like they're the tag ties at the ends of each of these rectangular shapes. And then I go in and do some shading and really make them pop and look more dimensional on the page. Now I started doing my shading with a Faber-Castell pen and tried to smudge it, but just didn't really like the look I was getting, so I switched over to a Stabilo all in black, and I used my water brush to just pull that shadow out and soften it up as it went. So that's how I handled the shading on these now rectangular, what was once was rectangular shapes, which now look more like tags.